Hello everybody, Saratoriari here. Happy spooky season to you. What we'll be going over today is the Elder God creation of Telos. But first, a little bragging. I got the Telos pet on my 154th kill, which was my first kill at 201%. But enough about that, let's tackle this monstrous anima boy. If you're like me and don't have 10 years to dedicate to a PhD in online reading, most of which starts to look like gibberish, and you don't want to spend another 40 minutes seeing it in action just to learn the basics, then this guide is for you. All of that can be distilled down to this. I suggest pausing the video here to write the bold words down on a post-it to keep nearby while you're fighting Telos, because these are the general mechanics you'll be dealing with. I also suggest having the mobile perk, as surging around is very useful during the fight. Rack is a great ability for Telos because unlike most bosses, Telos is not immune to stuns, which gives this ability a nice damage bump. I suggest using it after every ability that stuns. For gear, anything level 80 or higher will be good. I personally like using a two-handed magic weapon for DPS and having a dual-wield rebounder switch for stuns and other highly damaging mechanics. You could probably also get away looking like Raiden with a corporeal fungal infection. And this is what I personally use for my ability bar setup, although there's lots of room for customization with keybinds and such. For my inventory, I suggest the stat boosting potions of your choice, 4 super restore flasks, and a few Ceridome and brew flasks, because if you eat food and a Cerebrew simultaneously, you'll heal more in one tick. I use Soul Split for most of the fight, but if you don't have it, praying melee for most of the fight, then magic for phase 3 will work too. Without further ado, let's jump right in. If you've stacked Adrenaline, I like to start with Sunshine, as it's a nice way to start out strong. If you didn't stack Adrenaline, the Adrenaline numbers are pretty much the same. I like to use Impact at 40% Adrenaline because stunning Telos lets you get a few extra hits in before the first special. After 7 auto attacks, the first special is Tendril. For this, using Wild Magic is a pretty reliable way to do enough damage to break the hold, and you can follow it up right away with Asphyxiate, which will almost guarantee you break the hold, but also do lots of juicy damage. For the second special, the Uppercut, this takes a bit of practice on the timing, but you just surge away and you'll avoid all damage. If you can, surge towards the beginning of the green stream so you can get in it sooner as it boosts Adrenaline rapidly, and you can get off a nice ultimate before using Anticipate for the next special, which is Stun. For this, we'll switch to our shield and use Resonance just before his arm hits the ground. After that, you can restart the rotation of specials with Telos using Tendril and breaking it with Wild Magic. Keep doing this until Telos is at 300,000 health, then you'll move to phase 2, but keep in mind as enrage goes up, the Telos hit point milestones for phasing go up as well. I like to start each phase with a stun, preferably Asphyxiate, so that you can collect yourself and make sure your health is up in case Telos stuns right away, like he does here. If you find yourself caught in a stun, just use Freedom and move away. The special he starts with tells you where he is in his rotation of abilities. Refer to the phase guide at the beginning of this video. The only new ability here is Barrage, when you'll want to block the Black Stream and pray magic for its duration. Using Devotion as the Barrage gets stronger can be helpful, and you can switch to a shield and use Reflect after Devotion if Telos' bar was full before the Barrage. As a general rule, you'll want to keep Telos out of the Black Stream. Keep in mind, after the Barrage, Telos will stun, so be ready to use Anticipate, switch to your shield, and use Resonance when his arm touches the ground. Keep DPSing him down to 200,000 and we'll move to phase 3. Again, I like to start with a good stun like Asphyxiate to make sure you're ready for phase 3. Phase 3 is similar to phase 1 except there's no Tendril bind. Just keep Telos out of the red stream as much as possible and kill the anima golems periodically as insurance in case Telos charges his bar towards the red on the right. In the event that Telos' bar reaches the right side and there are anima golems, which keep it in the red, switch to a shield and use Reflect, and kill the golems as quickly as possible, as phase 3 is one of the easiest places to die at Telos. Moving on to the big money round, start with Asphyxiate and make sure your health is high, as phase 4 is quite complicated and you won't want to worry about your health being low. Again, Telos might start with a stun, so use Freedom and move away. The first special tells you where Telos is in the rotation. The biggest part of phase 4 is timing the fonts. Ideally, you'll start a font right after a special to give you more time before Telos' next ability. Once Telos is down to 75,000 health, he'll summon 3 special anima golems, and we will do 3 things very rapidly. First, you'll use Anticipation. Second, you'll switch to a shield and use Reflect while moving towards the font. And third, you'll want to kill the volcanic golem as quickly as possible because it can stun you, which is also an easy place to die. And you'll want to stay next to the font because Telos' next attack is an insta-kill and you will die 100% of the time if you're outside the dome the font creates. As instantly as possible after the insta-kill attack, you'll want to use Asphyxiate to stun Telos, which will give your defensive abilities time to recharge and you to heal up. Since the last special was an uppercut, next will be an Anima Bomb, which can be reduced with Debilitate or Tanked, and you'll want to be next to a font when that hits because it will bleed you and rapidly reduce your overload timer. Keep in mind your rotation may be different, and if Telos stuns right after the insta-kill, you may just have to tank both hits, so keep your health high. After the Anima Bomb, there's a stun, so be ready to anticipate and use Resonance. Sometimes it's helpful to distance yourself from the remaining golems to properly use Resonance. At 50,000, Telos will start draining the next font, anticipate or use Freedom, switch to a shield, reflect, and kill the volcanic golem. When Telos fills the bar, this is a tough spot. You'll want to stun Telos with Asphyxiate to buy time, and be sure to heal up as the next special, depending on how many auto attacks were left, will be a big typeless hit. If you time it better than I did, you can res the damage to 0. It won't heal you, but it'll hit 0 instead of over 5,000. This one's tough to time, so you may want to use Debilitate as an alternative. At 25,000 health, it's the same deal as before. Anticipate, shield switch, reflect, kill the volcanic golem, then stun Telos right after his insta-kill attack. If you're doing okay on food, you can relax a bit on the mechanics and just go for max DPS. That's all for the Telos guide. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to make some runes today. Be sure to subscribe and find me in-game, and I'll see you next time.